Tilston. Welcome to furnishing and decorating your outside room. Decorating any room in your house is important. It expresses who you are and also, in practical ways, can make your living space an easier place to be. And perhaps more than any room inside the house, the garden isn't just about a view. It's a multi-sensory, three-dimensional experience. The sounds, the sights, the smells, all add up to a place where you can feel at home, a place of escape, the perfect hideaway. We can play with light, scents, sounds and textures in the garden to affect how you feel. And it doesn't depend on how big your space is. Even the tiniest of gardens is often bigger than any room inside your house. In a garden we can change the space, create an atmosphere, a wrap-around vision of your perfect space. We can also choose what we want to use the space for. This is the real difference between inside and outside. Gardens are undefined. It is up to you to decide how you want them to be, what you want them to be for. All is up for grabs. And, unencumbered by strict uses, we can decide how to decorate our outside space. This doesn't have to be an expensive operation. Paints, lights and decorations can all be quite modestly priced. It's the thought that goes into the project, not the money, that will make the difference. So these talks aren't about making those very expensive structural changes to your garden. I'm assuming that either you're happy with the basic layout of the garden, or budget doesn't run to major remodelling works. So, if this was inside your house, it's as though we are taking the basics of the room as given. We're not knocking through any walls. So outside we're talking about the space you have there as a given. We're not remodelling. In these talks, we'll go through the process of bringing all of your ideas together to decorate your garden and maximise its potential. In the first talk, we look at evaluating your space and what you need from that space. We look at what your style is. Then we start to look at how to define the spaces with a variety of configurations, using open plan or zoning off different areas. In the second week, we look at the big features in the garden, the floor and the walls. Getting these basics right will help with the whole scheme. Then we start to look at the big decisions, the furniture, the storage, finishes and colour schemes. The third week is all about plants. After all, we are talking about gardens, so we have to talk about them. But we approach the issue of plants from the point of view of what works for you and what you're happy to have in your garden. So we use them to bring the garden to life, but not to overtake your life and free time. Finally, we look at the finishing touches, the important decorations and flourishes that will make the difference between brilliant and blare. So the aim of this course is to get you an outside space which is easy to live with, visually connected and coherent, which works for what you need. In any well thought out room, everything should be convenient. It should have storage that keeps the area clutter free, and it should work with one vision. And the first thing to do is to assess your space. Look at what you have out there, the same as you would look at a room inside the house that you were thinking of redecorating. And just like a room inside the house, it's likely that the space is cluttered up with things you don't want. Maybe they were the previous owners, or things you haven't really thought about. Rooms get filled. It seems to be the way of the world. It's easiest, if you're sure you're going for a complete revamp, to get rid of all the unnecessary stuff in the garden, at least temporarily. So you get it as near as possible to an empty space. Whether these chairs, pots and other detritus go in the front garden, or to a friend's house, to the recycling, or to the dump, it will help enormously if you can see your space without the clutter. Once you've got a space you can look at, try to assess the good and the bad points. In small gardens, it may be all about the walls, fences or hedges. These may be the dominant features once that clutter is gone. Look at these surroundings. Are the fences or hedges all unified, or are they a mishmash of different things? Beyond this, look at the decoration that's already there. Any stonework on the ground, any paintwork on the walls. Can this be used, or does it all need to be covered up? Look at the areas, the space you want to use. Is there enough room for the seating you want, and is it in the sun or the shade? Are there level changes, and can these be used in the layout of the room? If you've got any problems like being overlooked, you might want to use trellis or screens to create privacy. Or if there's a lot of shade from other people's trees or houses, you need to look at where there is sun.